Hey folks, it's Free Play Frank. I want to wish you all a happy new year. And as you can see, we got some snow here again, and now we're in the deep freeze now. It's minus 21 with a wind chill the other day. Fortunately, I got some really sad news. We lost my 14-year-old goat Bella the other night. She was doing all right. There was no major issues with her, just slowing down a little bit. But she's 14 years old, and she just didn't make it through the night. So I'm really sad about that. And then on Christmas night, I lost my youngest baby goat, Nibble's baby. Something happened to her, a birth defect, I think, because she was doing fine also. The barn is plenty warm enough for them, even at 20 below the barn, as long as you block off all the drafts. And the goats are 2 months old and they're eating well, and mom's got lots of milk, so had to have been a birth defect, so we're not happy about that. I'm sorry to have to give you the bad news, but well, that's life when you have a farm. So I suppose you're expecting me to have another farm video for you. Well, I'm going to have a machinist video for you tonight. I'm going to show you my milling attachment that I have for my metal lathe. And then later, I'm going to play Happy Christmas, War is Over by John Lennon. And please watch all the way to the end. There's going to be a special message at the end. Alright, let's get going. Okay, this video is about this milling attachment that I've got attached to my vintage Sheldon 10-inch lathe. Now this attachment is for a much larger lathe, probably 12, 16-inch lathe. But I've managed to attach it to this. It goes on where the tool post attaches. So what I did was I got this bolt here and I machined the end of it so that it was the same as the post that holds the tool bit. And then I had to mount a small piece of steel in here to take up this slack because it wouldn't slide all the way back, and I need it to be 90 degrees. So I've got this adjusted fairly close. It's not quite exact, but I'm going to get it set up so that it's as close as I can get it. I have to machine this keyway so that it goes all the way down here to this line. I'm going to get this going here for you, and this is the first time I've tried to use this. And then after I'm done machining it, I'm going to show you how I mounted it. Okay, so what I did was it mounts on where the tool post goes. So I took this bolt and I machined the end of it the same as what the tool post is. And I used the washer spacer, whatever you call this piece here, from my tool post. And this then slides into this slot here. A one-handed man holding the camera with one hand and working with the other. And then the machine here, it slides on over top on these lugs here. Slides onto here like this, and then I've got this plate that goes over the bolt with this nut. I think they're 3/4 inch bolt that I used. And then it has a problem with the front part of this is pretty beat up. I squared it up as much as I could. But it doesn't go back far enough on this because it's for a bigger lathe. So I put this little spacer here. This sits in here, and if you move the compound back to expose these ways here, it holds this in place. And then you just push it up and tighten this bolt down. And you set your compound at 90 degrees so that it's perpendicular to the chuck. And it's pretty close. It's, a couple fell off. And there's a few fine adjustments on this unit here. Now we have at the back here, you loosen these two, and then you can turn the whole thing. So if you want to hold an odd shape something, I don't know what you would hold in there, but I just could see that this is good for making keyways and shafts, and maybe you could surface a cylinder head for a Briggs & Stratton or something if you had a fly cutter. but it's and then this one here just operates the vise, and then this adjustment here moves it up and down to line it up to center it with the chuck, because the chuck is here with the end mill here, so you have to move this whole vise unit up and down to center it. And this unit is pretty beat up. You can see it's got brass on it. It's been broken, and somebody had a bit of an accident here. They ran it into the chuck. Look at this mess here. This is pretty nasty. So it's for a bigger lathe. It'll work on this lathe. When I get this unit running, it'll be a lot more rigid on there. But it does work, and it came with my Sheldon lathe, so if you get a chance to pick one of these up, do it, but don't pay more than 50 bucks for it, because it's kind of a chintzy thing, but it does work. And for the amount of time it took me to put this on the machine and do my cuts, I couldn't have drove to a machine shop and had it done any faster, so it's a good thing to have in your arsenal of equipment. You know, the model number on this is, forget where, yeah, right there, Palmgren 400. I'm not sure where that's made, probably Scandinavian, might be German, I'm not sure. Alright, I've got it all set up. Now let's give it a try. I hope you can see this. Can only take light cuts because it's a small lathe, about 5 thou at a time. So it's going to take me a while to cut this keyway, but it is working. Anyways, I'll come back after I've got the keyway cut and show you what it looks like. Okay, she's all done. So I cut another smaller keyway, 3/16 keyway at the other end for a pulley. Loosen this off a little bit. Show you what this keyway looks like. Now it does work. A few problems with it though. One problem is that since this is such a light machine, it's not very rigid. So you get a lot of chattering. You've got to take light cuts, 10, 20 thou maximum, and multiple cuts. The other problem is there's no carriage lock on this machine, at least none that I can find. So you got to hold on to this handle to stop this carriage from moving, and then feed with the cross slide, because I don't have power feed on this machine. The gears are missing that does that, so you have to hand feed. But it does work. It takes a while. It took me maybe 10 minutes to cut the small keyway and probably 40 minutes to cut this longer keyway.
And so this is Christmas, and what have you done? Another year over, a new one just begun. And so this is Christmas, I hope you have fun. You and the dear ones, the old and the young. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear. And so this is Christmas, for weak and for strong. The road is so long. Have a Merry Christmas, for black and for white, for the yellow and red ones that stop all the fight. Merry, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear. And so this is Christmas, and what have you done? Another year over, a new one just begun. And so this is Christmas, I hope you had fun. You and the dear ones, the old and the young. Merry, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear. Woe is